What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Web3 SQL Weekly number 6, where I break down queries into bite-sized bits. This week's going to be a bit special. We're actually running a hackathon this weekend on labels. So I'm going to walk through how to create a label to identify Metaverse landlords, meaning people who have bought or traded Otherdeed or Sandbox or Decentraland or Cryptovoxels. And I'm going to walk you through how to create a label and query it. In case you're here during the week of the hackathon, which ends on March 5th, 2023, the Notion page to it is going to be linked in the description. We've got 1,500 in bounties. There's going to be different prize categories for you to submit labels to. You just have to submit a query. Super simple. And you have a chance of winning Dune Beanie. Make sure you join us in the Discord and the labels channel and just submit something. Just create with us. Even if you're seeing this after the hackathon, still come to the labels channel, hang out with us. We're going to be creating a ton of new cool labels in the future. So let's quickly talk about what labels are. You can see here, there's 44 example labels, or not example labels. There's 44 labels that we currently have. Everything from infrastructure of like miners, Mev, Flashbox, to like who are the top NFT traders, what platforms do traders use, and these are all mapped to addresses, right? And the main thing you need to know is that there are 3 label types. There's identifiers, which are like unique names for something, like the name of like a centralized exchange, or your ENS address, or your Lens username. There's usage, which is rankings. You can think of usage as anything saying like your top 1% or your top 10% of NFT traders by volume. And personas are like, it's not ranking things. It's basically just saying you did this set of on-chain activities. So if you're someone who buys a ton of ENS names and just tries to sell them, then you're an ENS squatter, and that would be your persona. You can see more about these in the spellbook repo. There's a beautiful README that I made myself that kind of talks about contributing and goes through examples. You can look through like some of our top categories right now. So let's get into Metaverse landlords, right? I know that there's Decentraland, there's Sandbox, there's Cryptovoxels, and there's Otherdeed, which are like Metaverse projects that have some sort of land token that you can buy and sell. So the first thing I need to do is figure out what are the addresses of these tokens. So I'm going to go to Dune, and we're going to search for this live. So I'm going to search over here. Let's search for Sandbox. And I can see here, there's someone who's actually done a Metaverse series. This is our friends over at 21 Shares, Tom and a bunch of others. If I click into here, I can see they're doing a bunch of cool token analysis. And somewhere in here, there's actually land trading here. So I can look at this and kind of guess like, okay, there's probably land token addresses in. So I know that land tokens are probably NFTs. So what I want to look for are the NFT trades tables that are called. And I want to get the contract address they use for filtering NFT trades. So I can see here, this is Mana land sale. And I happen to know that Mana is a Decentraland token. So that this address must be related to Decentraland. So just to double check, I'm going to go to Etherscan. I'm going to pop it in here, and I can see it's the land token. And it's an it's an ERC 721, so it's an NFT, right? So I'm going to create a query and just save this down right now as Decentraland. All right, so let's go to the next instance of NFT trades. This is still Mana. This now says Ape land sale, right? So this is probably Otherdeed. If I just go in here, it's Otherdeed indeed. So I can just say here, this is Otherdeed. All right, so this is just showcasing how I look through other people's queries. If I keep going, this is still Ape. What's this one? This is Sand. So now if I take Sand, and just double check. You always want to double check. Yeah, this is ERC 721. It's Sandbox land token. So at this point, 21 Shares dashboard has what's very helpful. It's already given us 3 addresses we want. We're just missing Cryptovoxels now, right? So for Cryptovoxels, let me just see what I can find. This is the top result, and this is total number. I don't see an address, but I do see a decoded contract table. If I fork this query, it's on the old engine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this, which I know is just the function call part. I'm going to go to the search bar. And if I search parcel call mint, it actually shows up Cryptovoxels here. I can click parcel and I'm looking for the mint function. And if I preview the table, I can see, okay, so this, when it's a function table, the contract address is the contracts being called. So I can take this contract address, plug it into Etherscan just to double check, and it's actually an ERC20. It's not an NFT, right? So this is interesting. Typically, it should always be an ERC721. So let's go to OpenSea and actually see. It's the Voxels collection. If I just click into one of these, I just want to see its most recent sale. So there's a sale over here. And it looks, this is the Voxels parcel. So I think what's happening here is the number of voxel tokens you transfer is your token ID, essentially. It's weird that they've implemented this in an ERC20, but just to be super safe, let me actually check for this inside of our NFT trades table, where NFT collection address is equal to Cryptovoxel contract. I don't need quotes because things are natively byte arrays in Dune SQL. Oh, it's actually NFT contract address. Try that again. Cool. So I can see that there's actually already these trades in our NFT trades table. So this is token ID 6990. Let me find the transaction hash. Put this into Etherscan, and if I see there's, yeah, so this token ID is the amount of ERC20 tokens transferred. So Cryptovoxels is just a weird edge case of an ERC20 implementation of NFTs. But there we go. We have our 4 addresses. So now we can move into creating the label. All right, so what do we need? We need basically, I think, 4 steps. We need to filter NFT trades for buyers from any of these contracts. We need to check that each buyer has bought, let's say, at least 3 times from each contract. So each token, 3 tokens from each contract, basically. And then we need to format the address results in the labels schema. All right, so those are our 3 steps. So let's start by taking NFT trades, and we want where contract address is in either Decentraland, Otherdeed, Sandbox, or Cryptovoxels. So we want all trades within here, and then we want, so NFT trades, we get the buyer address. Yeah. So we want buyer, we want NFT contract address, and then we want, let's just say, count as tokens bought. And the logic we want is we want to make sure they've bought at least 3 tokens. So I'm going to have a having, which is basically a where statement after a group by. I'm going to say having count greater than 3, right? So they must have bought at least 3 tokens from each metaverse. Let's call it. Cool. Let's run this by saving it. So Metaverse, Landlords. This is Web3 SQL Weekly 6. Cool. So if I put an address in here, this will show me if the buyers bought from some contract more than 3 times. But now I need to make sure that they've bought from each of these contracts at least 3 times. So to do this, let's add a CTE. Let's say with base as. And there might be a faster way of doing this, but it's just the first one that's come to my head. I'm going to say select where buyer count from base group by 1 having count equals 3. Must have bought from each Metaverse. So now this should give me the distinct buyers. And it looks like there's actually only 13. Zero address shouldn't be included, so I actually need to filter that out of here. And buyer does not equal, let's say, zero address. Just copy this here. So 3 might have been too high. Let's say just 1. Okay, there's 33 addresses that are Metaverse landlords. They've bought from every single Metaverse. Let's now put this into the schema that's required for the hackathon. And that means that I need to have category, which is gaming. So let's take this as distinct lords. And I'm going to say gaming is the category. And the label type is persona, because I'm just basically creating a persona. I'm not ranking anything, so it's not usage. And then I'm going to get the model name is just going to be Metaverse Landlords as model name. The blockchain is just Ethereum. Blockchain. And that actually reminds me, NFT trades up here. We need and blockchain equals Ethereum to be accurate. And we need name, which is Metaverse Landlord as name. And then we need address, which is just the buyer as address from distinct lords. So now if I run this, you'll see here now, these are our 33 Metaverse landlords. Now that I'm thinking about it, 33 is pretty small. It's not super meaningful for us to do analysis with. It'd be better if we had some sort of labels that showed us at least 1,000 addresses. So I'm going to remove the condition that you have to have bought like from every single one. I'm going to instead say across all metaverses, you have to have bought, let's say, 100 lands. So must have bought at least 100 tokens from across all metaverses. So now, right now, you're seeing in real time how I'm adjusting, like, what's a good label? I want something that is like self-evident enough, but not too selective that's like the results are too small. So let's try this again. I only need to group by 1, and I need to change this to base. Cool, so now this is 181 addresses, which can be meaningful. This gives us our Metaverse Landlords query. So now let's say I want to use this as a label. Technically, I need to PR it into labels, and there's a contribution guide here. But I can also just use it as a query. So the query ID is this. So I can say select all from query ID here. And you can see it pulls the exact same query. It's running it as a view, so it has to run it again. So let me just see what is the trading activity of Metaverse Landlords in the last 7 days. So let's say select all from NFT trades, where buyer is in select address, right? And I want the date trunk, let's say week. And I want the sum, I think it's amount USD. Let me double check. It is amount USD. There's amount USD. And I want to group by collection. So let's just do collection. And block time is, let's just say, within the last 3 months. Group by week and collection. And let's run it. So there's a bunch of rows here. This might be too much to visualize, actually. But let's take week, amount, group by collection. Please don't crash. It didn't exactly crash, but it's not super meaningful. I can see there's maybe one here that's extremely high. All right, well, I can't actually find it, but I can see that these metaverse landlords have made $200 million worth of trades. And they've actually become more active in the last week. So this is something you could use to analyze, be like, hey, if I'm a metaverse project, how active are the most active buyers of metaverse projects right now? And get a sense of early January would have been a bad time to launch something. But now the speed of buying is picking up by this label of addresses. It's a good time to launch. So hopefully that gives you some inspiration of how labels can be used. Again, all you need to submit for the hackathon is a simple query like this, and we'll help you with the PR. Again, 500 USD prize for 3 winners, and also a beanie. Just please have fun, get creative, submit something. All these labels can be built on top of each other. And this is not the last bit of labels content you're going to see. Hope to see you around.